Hey Chaotic Crew, Brian here. We've got tons of the Marvel superhero sets spoiled to us, and the Commander decks also spoiled. We will definitely be doing some pre-con upgrades, so make sure to, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on those. But right now we're doing a deck tech for the Molecule Man, and this guy is pretty insane, been pretty viral. If you haven't been paying attention on social media, don't blame you, it's kind of a lot. But Molecule Man is a 6-mana, colorless human villain. It's a 5/5 and gives non-land cards in your hand Miracle 0. So you can cast a card in your hand for its Miracle cost when you draw it if it's the first card you draw each turn. So, meaning that, obviously the first card you draw during your turn, great. And then that also includes each of your opponent's turns. So this deck is really about trying to get ways to draw cards and, cast a bunch of really big spells for free. In Colorless, a big popular way to go with that is Eldrazi, right? Because they have massive creatures. You can also go massive artifacts. So I kind of did just, colorless good stuff here and thought it would be pretty great. So let's get to it. But before I do, I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Manapool. Manapool's a fast-growing marketplace for Magic the Gathering that makes buying and selling cards easy. The optimizer helps you get the best value in buying cards, and the team is focused on making it a great experience for buyers and sellers alike. Make sure to check out their affiliate link in the description below, and thank you to Manapool for helping the channel out. So, diving into the deck, Eugene, the Ineffable 6-mana for a 4 loyalty planeswalker, makes our colorless spells cost 2 less to cast, which is perfect because this is a deck that has a lot of expensive spells. Our average curve is probably 4 or 5, somewhere around there, so having Eugene make everything cost 2 less is pretty great there. Can also destroy colored permanents and even help us get some pseudo draw and have bodies in the battlefield, so really good there. Creatures, we're running 21, right? It's any spell that gets miracled out, so it doesn't need to be a creature heavy deck, but obviously with the Eldrazi, the big artifacts, there are going to be lots of really good creatures, right? And as we'll get to later in the deck tech, a lot of the ways we're going to be drawing cards is actually looting effects. We'll be drawing and discarding. So what's really great about Artisan of Kozilek here is that when you cast this spell, you may return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. So going to be able to discard maybe one of our really high mana value creatures, then cast Artisan of Kozilek and, cheat it out. So really, really cool card here in this deck that does care a bit about the graveyard as well. Cityscape Leveler, also a fantastic card to cast from your hand with Miracle, or even unearth from your graveyard too. It can destroy permanents, so really neat there. Crashing Drawbridge can give our creatures haste, which is always nice in a colorless deck. Deal Broker is one of the ways that we're going to be drawing and discarding cards. Deal Broker does for free. We have a lot of cards that are going to be costing mana to do it, but Deal Broker is great. You essentially ignore all the draft shenanigans on this text, and really just focus on the draw, discard a card. Endbringer is great, 5 mana and a colorless as well. For a 5/5 Eldrazi, so 6 mana total, and you untap it during each of the player's untap step. And of course, you can be paying 2 colorless and tapping him to draw a card each turn. So 2 mana to draw that can untap on every player's turn is really, really strong in this deck. Also can ping things for 1, can make it so that a target creature can attack or block this turn, so it's just really good utility here in a deck that cares about doing things on your opponent's turns. Foundry Inspector, also great to make a lot of our artifacts cost 1 less to cast. We have 21 creatures, you're going to see, I think we have close to 30 artifacts, if not more, so Foundry Inspector putting a lot of work in here too. New card here, Galactus, Devourer of Worlds, a pretty cool card. Before I get to that, though, Silver Surfer, Galactus' Herald, also from the new set. 5 mana, 4/5 with flying. Whenever Silver Surfer enters, you may search your library for a card named Galactus, Devourer of Worlds, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Whenever Silver Surfer deals combat damage to a player until the end of your next turn, target creature attacks that player each combat if able. So this is a good way to kind of do semi-goad, but in case it ever changes anyone's hands, it is pretty neat, and it's targeted goad. You get to choose who they attack. So kind of cool there. Really the main reason this is in is to get Galactus into your hand. And Galactus is a 12/12 flying trample indestructible for 10 mana. And when he enters, you exile a permanent. Which is really neat there. And then Galactus attacks an opponent with the most life among your opponents each combat unable, unless you control Silver Surfer, Galactus' Herald. So, Galactus is only going to be attacking the most powerful enemies, so your enemies can't really be mad about that, right? If you have this guy in the battlefield, what's great about that is this actually makes it your opponents don't really want to try and get rid of that if they don't have to. Why would they if it's helping them kill, the threat on the board? Now, this does make you a target to whoever the threat on the board is, if it's not you, right? Having a flying indestructible maybe helps protect against some of that, but still, yeah, just a lot going on here, a lot of politics. Just be careful. Galactus isn't a card you can play on every single board state, but really great in this deck. Glaring Fresh Raker is fantastic too because it's going to give you semi-ramp. As you cast colorless spells, you make Eldrazi spawns. That can give you more colorless mana, and then you're also burning each opponent for 1 each time a colorless creature enters the battlefield. Herbie, a new card from the Commander set as well, Marvel Superheroes. 2 mana, 1/1. It's a mana dork, can add colorless. You can also color filter if you want to. Not really going to be doing that in this deck, but he surveils 1 every now and then. So really strong in a deck that cares about, what the top of your deck is. So not only is he helping you get to your 6 mana commander, which is a lot, but he's helping make sure that you are getting the cards you want when his ability triggers. We're of course running It That Betrays. We have a couple of Eldrazi in here, and it triggers itself. We also are running All Is Dust, so just some extra value on getting an 11/11 for free with Annihilator 2, so not bad. It That Heralds the End. We do have a lot of colorless spells that cost 7 or greater. Unfortunately, our commander is not one of those, but we have a decent amount. I would say over 10 cards, which makes it worth it for that, but it also just is a lord for all of our colorless creatures, so making our commander a 6/6 instead of a 5/5, really strong, and buffing all of our other creatures as well is just great to have. Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter, is just going to be a flyer that gets bigger and bigger and bigger as the game goes on. We're running Ornithopter, Palladium Mirror as some ways to sort of get us some ramp, and then we're running Zenith Chronicler to draw us a bunch of cards. It will draw cards for some other opponents as well, but since none of our cards are multicolored, it's really going to be benefiting us the most. Sire of Seven Deaths, Tri-Sentinel, Act of Vengeance. I'll touch on this one in a second because it's a new card. Zoldock, Void Gorger, and Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, are sort of the other big beaters we're running in this deck. Tri-Sentinel is pretty cool. It's a 7/7 for 7. Flying Menace Trample. When it enters for each opponent, Tri-Sentinel deals 3 damage to up to 1 target creature that player controls. So pretty great there. And it also has an Earth, so similar to this Cityscape Leveler right there. And then Summon Bahamut, also a fantastic card here to get out with our commander, or to cheat out from the grave with, something else. Sorceries, just 1, All Is Dust. It's just a board wipe. We really don't need a ton more. We have a lot of removal in this deck, right? A lot of our big creatures will remove stuff, so maybe some of the on the lower end, not as much. We might need some help there, but All Is Dust is pretty great here. Instance, we do have Desecrate Reality, which does hit pretty much everything, and if we cast this for free, getting free exile 3 things is fantastic, but if we do have the mana to cast this, which we typically will, if it's in our hand, we get to return any permanent with an odd mana value from our graveyard to the battlefield, which is going to be Tri-Sentinel, Bahamut, Sire of Seven Deaths, Silver Surfer, Liberator, Glaring Flesh Raker, Deal Broker, Artisan of Kozilek. So there's some strong cards in there. Some also cards that are maybe not the best, but pretty solid. Eldrazi Confluence, can remove creatures, can blink things, which is really great. We have some cards that have Enter the Battlefield triggers, so Eldrazi Confluence really helps with that. And then we can also just ramp with this, which is not bad to have either if we have this in our early hand. Eldritch Immunity can give stuff protection, which is fantastic. We've also got Null Elemental Blast as a counter spell. We've also got Warping Whale, which can counter sorcery, so if anyone has a board wipe, that's sorcery speed. Pretty great to counter that. Also has some pretty good utility there. Titan's Presence is going to potentially exile creatures. Not amazing to have, but not bad either. Energy Bending is just going to draw us a card for 2 mana on someone else's turn. Cast that in for free. And so, yeah, now we're getting to 32 artifacts. Like I said, a lot of artifacts here. Going to be drawing, discarding, ramping us out, and also making sure we're fixing the top card of our library. That's kind of what we want to do with the deck, and these are the cards that are going to do it. Brainstone, fantastic to draw 3, then put 2 from our hand on top of the library in any order. So not only do we get the first card miracled off of this if our commander is out, we get to set up the next 2 cards, the next 2 payoffs. So really, really a killer card here to have on the battlefield when your commander comes out. Camille, the Inner Sun, is fantastic to make sure our spells that we miracle out can't be countered, and it's also going to discover for us. So we're just going to get more value. One of these probably pieces on here, maybe one of our lower value creatures, but yeah, really strong card to have in the deck. Collector's Vault, Currency Converter, Daily Bugle, Newspaper. These are cards that are going to be drawing us and discarding us cards, right? Collector's Vault, pay 2 mana, draw, discard, make a treasure. There's another card that does similar. Daily Bugle Newspaper does the exact same thing, right? So just having 2 of these cards is pretty great in the deck. It's sort of semi-rampant, yes, as well. So not bad. Currency Converter, similar. Whenever we discard a card, you may exile it from a graveyard. You can pay 2 mana to draw and discard, and then you can tap this to put a card exiled with this into your graveyard. So you're essentially just getting extra value to potentially make a treasure, to potentially make a 2/2. But yeah, not bad to have here. You're usually going to be doing this for the draw discard, and then maybe if you don't have the mana one turn cycle where you have enough cards that you're drawing one during each of your opponent's turn, you can then get the secondary effect to get some more value that way. Conjurer's Bauble is a way to draw a card. It can also bring something from your graveyard back into your deck. And you're like, man, I really don't want that in my graveyard. Since we are discarding some stuff too, right? Pretty good to have that. Crystal Ball Scries too, so fantastic. Beginning of your upkeep before you draw, right? Or before you use an ability that lets you draw on an opponent's turn, you can Crystal Ball. Darksteel Monolith, once each turn you can pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a colorless spell you cast from your hand. So this is great. This isn't on just your turn, this is also on your opponent's turn, so if you can flash stuff out, great. I didn't choose to run the colorless flash cards. There's a couple, but I didn't really have them. I think I did have Liberator or Disruptor, which does kind of work really well with Darksteel Monolith, but you're not really running them together because they're both great with each other. They just kind of both work with the deck, and if you get them together, then great. Everflowing Chalice is good ramp. Hedron Archive, ramp that draws you cards. Liquid Metal Torque is good ramp. Mindstone can potentially draw you a card as well. As far as other ramp is concerned, Stone Speaker's Crystal can exile any number of graveyards and draw you a card as well. Warm Power Stone's great. Unstable Obelisk can get rid of something. Thought Vessel gives you no max hand size, so really strong. We want our mana rocks to not only give us mana, but also do something that we want the deck to do, so pretty strong there. Forsaken Monument also is going to help give us some incremental life gain, buff our creatures, and give us more mana to cast these massive spells. Lightning Greaves and Swift of Boots for protection. Maze Mind Tome is good. It can scry, it can draw you cards, it can do lots of different things, so really good there. Mind's Eye, going to guarantee if you have the mana open that you're going to be drawing cards on each of your opponent's turns, so very good there. Mishra's Bauble is also going to give you a free card draw, so really good there. Record of Bankbuster, for 3 turns, you can pay 2 mana to draw a card, so also really strong. Sensei's Divining Top, definitely the strongest card in the deck, consistently lets you put whatever you want on top, so you're not going to be whiffing with any lands. Soul Guide Lantern to remove cards from people's graveyards, but also potentially draw a card with it too, so that's, if you have to, it's really good there. We are running Portal to Phyrexia as another big hitter here. Like getting stuff out of our graveyards is fantastic, but it also gets stuff out of your opponent's graveyards too. Each of your opponents are sacrificing 3 creatures. This is kind of like a secondary board wipe. That's why I think we only really needed 1 when all is dust, because Portal to Phyrexia is also very strong. Planetarium of Wan Shi Tong, also fantastic to scry us too, but whenever we scry or surveil, look at the top card of our library. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Do this only once each turn. So this is great to scry anything we don't need to the bottom, but then also if we have 2 bang hitters on top, cast 1 for free with Planetarium, and then we draw 1 on this turn or the next for your commander. It's kind of a backup commander, if you will. Temple Bell draws everyone a card, so this is kind of a last resort one that we want to be doing here, but also works in a pinch if we need it to. The One Ring, absolutely fantastic in this deck, going to be drawing us multiple cards, and just really strong in the deck in general. And of course, Thran Dynamo as another strong ramp piece. Eldrazi Conscription is a fantastic payoff to get for free or from the graveyard maybe. It's going to give a creature +10/+10, Trample, and Annihilator 2. So just really strong maybe on our commander. Make it a 16/16 with Trample. Going to be hard to deal with that, or put it on an opponent's creature, make them the problem, have them go buck wild, right? And if you have Silver Surfer out, you can kind of force them to attack other people, and that becomes really, really strong. As for lands, nothing crazy, right? We have 13 wastes. Could probably replace those with other cards, but you know, I kind of stopped where I had it. I have Sevier Void with Scries. War Room draws us a card. We have 6 Urza's lands, right? Urza's Labyrinth, Cave, Mine, Power Plant, Tower, Workshop. Workshop's great because it can add a colorless for each Urza's land you control, so in a game could potentially give you 2 or 3. We don't really have ways to search other Urza's lands except for Urza's Cave, so kind of gets rid of one, but potentially get multiple mana with Urza's stuff here. Not really aiming to get that, it's just nice to have if it happens. So they're typically wastes with slightly more upside. Tomb of the Spirit Dragon can gain us a lot of life. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods can tap for double occasionally. Ruins of Oran Reef because it's counters. We gain life with a Radiant Fountain. No clue what this is. Let's switch this printing. Okay, this is Field of the Dead. There we go. That's a good card to have here. Ghost Quarter, Petrified Hamlet makes it so that your opponent's ability lands don't matter as much. That's not going to come into play a ton, but can. Eldrazi Temple can give you 2 mana for Eldrazi's, which is really nice. Deserted Temple can untap lands, so not really amazing unless you have a specific land, like maybe one that's drawing you a card, or maybe Yugen's Labyrinth, one that's drawing paying 2 mana, right? So there are a couple cards that works really well with. And then Bonder's Enclave draws a card. Blasted Landscape, you can cycle. Adventurer's End gets you some life. Buried Ruin gets you an artifact back. So yeah, pretty strong here. Let's go ahead and playtest and see how it goes. No land, 1 land to start out, not amazing. The problem with playing a colorless deck is sometimes it's hard to know when you have lands in your hand and when you don't. We do have lands here, so we're going to keep pretty good here. So draw for turn. Hedron Archive is exactly the kind of land we want to be seeing here. We do have the mana for Brainstone. Let's go ahead and cast it. Right? I don't mind letting people know we have Brainstone. It's going to stay on the battlefield for a while. If someone wants to waste removal on it, great. Then that's less removal they have for our other cards. Drawing the 4th land here for Hedron Archive is kind of great. Doesn't really matter a ton. We'll play Radiant Fountain, gain 2 life. It's good because that means we don't have to waste our Scry yet. We can Scry later. But we'll tap 2 for the Ornithopter. And pass. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods is also fantastic. And now we're paying 4 for Hedron Archive. So what's great is our commander enters the next turn guaranteed. We could also hold off a turn and play Lightning Greaves and get ready with Brainstone. We could do a lot of stuff, but I think, might make sense to just, if we tap out, we can't really do a whole lot, but people might remove our commander, so you might want the Greaves. There are pros and cons to both. Collector's Vault is really good and actually helps set us up even more. So now that I know we have a lot of setup that we can do, I'm going to play the Wastes. We are going to tap 2 mana for the Greaves. Go ahead and equip it to the Ornithopter. And then we can tap 2 mana for the Collector's Vault. And now we have the mana to draw and discard Make a Treasure, which we very well might use. Put the Cityscape Leveler in the graveyard. We can unearth it later. Don't really care about that. And then we have a lot of options for Molecule Man. So what I'm going to do is, in step, I will definitely do that. We're going to draw this. I'll discard the Boots actually, and then we will make a treasure. And we're on turn 5 now. So turn 5, we've had a really great hand so far. And this isn't like it's Magical Christmas Land or anything. The worst thing that people would have done would maybe destroy Brainstone, Hedron Archive, or something else. But we're really in a good spot. Tomb of the Spirit Dragon's not bad to have, but I don't love it here. What I'm instead going to do is play Zephyr Void. It's going to scry us 1. Liberator is not bad to have. It gives all our stuff flash. So actually, I do kind of like that since we want to hold mana open for our opponent's turns anyways. So what I'm going to do then is keep that on top because it's always good to have. And we're going to pay 6. 1, 2... And we're a couple lands away from Shrine of Forsaken Gods as well. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the commander. And now we can Brainstone and set things up. That's why I discarded Swift of Boots instead of Cityscape Leveler. And now we're going to pass, right? Pass the turn after we equip Lightning Greaves. someone wants to try and kill our commander with Lightning Greaves, they succeed. We can maybe try and draw a card in response. And if that's the case, I would probably do Collector's Vault instead of Brainstone, just because if we don't get any, I don't want to sacrifice the Brainstone for no reason. So if no one has a response to that, then on our opponent's turn, we will tap 2, sacrifice the Brainstone, draw 3 cards. The first one is Liberator versus Battle Fountain. We can cast that for free. Wow, and that's not bad at all. We'll get the Glaring Flesh Raker and the Cityscape Leveler, and honestly, it might be better to do... Yeah, we'll do it this way. Doesn't really matter. And now, the next card we're going to draw is going to be this card right here, and it's going to do marvels for us, right? So, yeah, great card there. And then, so our next turn, we're going to be drawing a card. It's the Escape Leveler. We'll cast it for free, destroy something. We could also now get the Greaves to Cityscape Leveler, and that becomes a really hot target. Gives the, makes people want to get rid of that instead of Molecule Man, right? Because I only have 2 cards in the hand. I have a couple ways to draw cards, but not a ton. So yeah, we're in a really strong position there. Turn 6, pretty good. So now we have 3 lands. We have the Ornithopter Paradise again. I'll keep it, even though we had it last time. We have a good amount of 2-mana Mana Rocks. We did draw this off your board. I'll restart. Okay, we'll keep this. We'll draw for turn. Urza's Workshop and Urza's Labyrinth is great. So we can imprint Darksteel Monolith with this, which I actually love a lot. So turn 1, play the Ugin's Labyrinth. We're going to imprint the Darksteel Monolith. And now this can add for 2 mana. 2 mana, Reckoner Bankbuster. Really great start. Next turn, Eldrazi Temple is also fantastic. Urza's Workshop is also really great too because we have a second Urza's land. So now this also taps for 2 as long as we have Metalcraft, which we're going to be getting soon. Let's play the Wastes, tap for 3 mana, and play Deal Broker. Now Deal Broker lets us draw and discard. Now we have 2 ways to draw, and what's great is if we play our commander, then Deal Breaker for without any mana can do something for Molecule Man. Alright, turn 3. Wow, we're in turn 3. We're doing really well. We're probably the target right now on our table, not gonna lie. We play the Urza's Workshop. And 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Stone Speaker Crystal. Someone wants to try and remove this, that's fine. We'll draw and discard a waste. In fact, I don't even mind doing that right now because we just discard a waste. Okay, fine with that. Next turn. Play the wastes. Urza's Workshop taps for 2. So now we have 2, 4, 6, 8 mana open. Pretty good. We can play Molecule Man. We'll do it like this because... Yeah, we'll do it like that. Pass the turn. Someone could remove this on turn 4. They might not be able to. Next turn, Deal Broker, draw, discard. It was a land. Sometimes we're going to win. That's going to happen. And then before our next turn, we Reckoner Bankbuster to draw. We get a free Endbringer. Hey, that's pretty good. We don't have the mana for it, but to do its stuff, and it doesn't have haste, but hey, that's pretty good. Next turn, turn 5, we drew a land. Again, not amazing. But what's great here is Deserted Temple can give us extra mana here. So we play this, right? 1, 2, and use one of it for here. Tap for 1, 2. I mean, it's the same as if you do that. If we get one more Urza's, then this actually does something. Or we could Ghost Quarter. Eldrazi Temple is also great. So Eldrazi Temple can tap 2 for potentially Ulamog or for Endbringer, which is really good. And then eventually we can get to a point where Deserted Temple helps with Endbringer as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we could cast Ulamog right now. We could just do that. I don't hate that. We get to exile 2 permanents, and he is indestructible, and he's going to be the target for sure. We could do that. We can also wait and see what we draw with Molecule Man, but we're kind of risking it. With 3 lands in hand, we could definitely be risking it a lot. So I say we just cast Ulamog, because we still have Deal Broker on the battlefield. Draw. on our next turn, we get to cast a free Eldrazi Conscription. Fantastic. Who do we add it to? Ulamog? Maybe? Endbringer? Maybe? Malcolmian? Maybe not? I don't know. But yeah, so we're in a good spot. This is a good deck. It's fun. It's pretty crazy. You obviously want to kill Molecule Man. People who are playing this deck are probably going to be playing the more oppressive Eldrazi. I try to make my decks more fun to play against, but hopefully you got a good idea for the deck. Let me know what you would add and what you would take out down below. Don't forget to check out our affiliate mana pool as well for any of these new cards, and make sure to keep an eye on the channel for our upcoming pre-con upgrades and giveaway. But you take care, have a good one, and I'll be back next time. Bye.